I want to preface by saying I do not think Traumerei is a bad character, and I'm not calling him poorly written. And as a matter of fact, I actually think that he's weirdly been in this kind of blank slate thing where SIU still has a lot of stuff he can do with him. He can paint him how he wants in a lot of ways. But I've pinpointed exactly why, on a personal level, he hasn't been moving me. And you guys know, if you've been around for a while, I've been Gustang, Bidau, over Local Bia, even though I like the Bia family, but I mess with Gustang more. And I realized what it really was. And it's Traumerei was a family head that was introduced to us in an antagonistic sense, right? So he's supposed to be antagonist. And it really disappointed me that he didn't add any extra levels of real tension to me, because it just didn't seem like he was going to hurt anybody in any meaningful capacity. We saw his Shinwan Ryu all creatures. That was cool. That was a flex. But all he ended up doing was kind of bodying. If anyone got bodied, it's like I think it was like the hybrider and the dude that was working on like the cat game, the like Mario Party board where you ask Ratchet and stuff. I'm like, this is who like got bodied. Like, it's very unserious. Like, and what I realized with Gustang is, now he was in an area where none of the characters that we follow or particularly care about are there. So we kill a lot of unnamed local Bia constituents and family members, if you will, with just ashing his cigarette. But you see how one very simple act where he's holding a book saying ruination and he ashes his cigarette caused a chain reaction of explosion of battleships all around. I wanted something like that from Traumerei, even if it was just a very small like to me, Yas Ratcha should have got bodied. Like, I think the Genjutsu was cool when he like messed with his mind. We thought he killed Cobalt. Shout out to Cobalt. Yo, Frog who ate 1,000 snakes and extended it to a deity. Yo, Cobalt is sick. Full respect on his name, but I'm like, showcase the danger, the absurdity, the insurmountable wall that's impossible to overcome. That is the family head. And I think Gustang has showcased that when he's there. A bug is a bug. Give me all these souls. What are you doing, White? You're a bum. Then R.E.D comes and he's like, bro, these guys are all ants to us. But you see that kid right there? He can stand with us one day, probably. Like, I just feel like Gustang embodies that family headness that Traumerei doesn't. Granted, their personalities are pretty different. Traumerei comes across to me as somebody who's a recluse, a social isolationist, somebody who is very introverted, if you will, and just kind of doesn't want to deal with trifles and creatures, just anything that's like bothers him. Like, he thinks all the people around him that's really not Bam or like other family heads are so insignificant, he can't even be bothered to dispatch them himself. He believes like maybe his leaders like Perseus and stuff and Perdity and Holland and whatnot, they should be doing that. Not that all of them are French family heads. Some of them are like hatchling candidates or candidates to become ones and everything. But it bothered me that he didn't exude that commanding presence. Now, I do want to add this because I think people made a good point about this. It's not a part I considered about the Ha Jing Sung Traumerei thing. I really hated how Ha Jing Sung was able to talk him into having this like dating competition for Bam, because I'm like, why would he listen to that? Ha Jing Sung is a big deal, but who is Ha Jing Sung to Lopo Bia effing Traumerei? But people are like, think about what happened with Jin Sung in terms of his. I think I don't remember if it was an arranged marriage, but with his marriage and how those things shaped up, and he didn't want Bam to have to go through something similar, so that's probably why he spoke up in that sense. But I'm like, okay, Ha Jin Sung saying that is actually in line with a lot of the things of his past and his history. But why would Traumerei listen? Who cares? But I'm at the point now that I don't think Traumerei is listening really. He's just doing that to appease him to some degree, because his acquirement of Bam into his family, into his clutches, into his army, however he wants to utilize him, is essential. So he'll play the game so a little bit for the time being. But I kind of wanted to highlight that. Charmray's design is whatever. It's cool. The mask, I think you guys like it more than I do. I think Gustang looks a lot cooler and nicer. You got the Cartiers, you got the drip, you got the coat, got the scarf. He be smoking his super high end cigarettes, whatever the case is. But um he moves me more. I'm generally, and because I know he's highly intelligent and he works in conjunction with like the workshop and other scientists. He was the one who kind of understood what Shinsu was and kind of like there's some ish around us, this divine water. I know his intellect is off the chain, off the charts. So when he comes around, I'm generally like, oh my goodness. And I remember when Rachel got washed by the toy being the floor of death. He just looks at her and she's healed. It's like that level of that level of power and strength that I want to see. But he has opportunities to showcase that later on. It's not too late, or whatever. Perhaps this is just a prelude, and there's gonna be a moment where Traumerei has me looking stupid, and this video will have aged like milk. Okay, by the time that we see him again. So nothing too crazy, nothing too long. I just kind of wanted to speak about some of my thoughts on Traumerei because when it comes up and I'm not really like high on him, I find that people are like, oh, why don't you like him? And I'm like, he's weird. Like, breed? Like, what's up with him? He's like, yo, Wangmang, I can't wait any longer. Breed her tonight. And I'm like, dog, you gotta go, bro. Like, are you watching? Is he watching? Are the insects in his family people that are people breeding with like spider mommy to create like what's going on? Like, I questions. That's all I'm saying. But I like the local Bia family. I think some of their women are like, you guys know how much I love Elaine. Kaiser, Name Hunter, that's my girl. Like I like a lot of them. Alfine, beautiful. I like Magenta Heroine. That's what Simi calls Shilial, I believe, is the red haired one, the magenta haired one, and then Lilial is the yellow haired one. He calls her blonde heroine. I like them. I'm excited and stuff. So we'll just see how it all plays out. But let me know what you guys think about Traumerei. I think I'm jumping the gun. Do you think that anything I said has any merit? Do you agree with the assessment that he kind of sucked the air out of the nest when he came and didn't actually just start bodying and doing things and being super commandeering or whatever? Like people were running around, still able to quote unquote escape from him, type of thing. It's just his personality to just not deal with stuff like that. It's just like I just really think that maybe him bodying Yasracha straight up, even with his like super like Dark Souls weird core form beastification thing. I just think that would have been an opportunity. Obviously, I know ultimately it still happened, but I think just like a dominating victory against Yasracha would have proven a lot to me. But again, I don't want to act like I think he's a bad character and he can't become extreme. I still think he's actually intriguing, just hasn't played out yet. So we'll see. But that's all I have to say. Let me know what you guys think, man. And I'm peace out. Patreon gang, huge shout out to the Patreon gang. Shout out to my certified BAM lovers. That's the CBL. Shout out to the Priests of Fire. Those are the certified Brilith lovers. Are they the real CBL? I don't know. They could be. But a huge shout out to the Fifth Zen Gods, my tier 3 pledgers on Patreon. Big shout out to 5:28 a.m., Big Abdel, Alan, Andrew, Bruv, Childish Nujabes, Tris, Fitz, Infinite, Irene Sharda, Jacob Holland, Johnny Rogers, Lazy Dragon, Lucky Rue, Revenant, Scobe, Silo, Simi, follow Simi on Twitch, Sonny Kathapali, Tino Brown, Zodiac, and Zyler Scotty. Thank you guys. Your support is greatly appreciated. And because of y'all, I don't gotta eat ice soup. Y'all ever had ice soup? Y'all never had to live off no ice soup, man. All right.